Live from Virtue Field in Burlington, Vermont, Pathfinder FC comes to town, hosted by Vermont Green FC. Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm Brian McLaughlin with Matt Montel. Matt, another gorgeous evening, another massive crowd expected on hand. This is going to be a fantastic match today. Must get a full 3 points for the boys in green as they're taking on Pathfinder. But, Matt, how are you on this great evening?
Once again, I'm kind of blown away that we consistently keep getting this amazing weather, this perfect soccer weather. Whole town is coming out. Everyone's jazzed up for this. They know what's, to play for tonight. I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be an outstanding match. Vermont Green should be the heavy favorite, coming in at 7-4-1, currently in a playoff spot in third place in the Northeast Division, while Pathfinder FC enters at 1-11-0. Matt, last time we saw Vermont Green, they played really well, but tonight, even though they don't have some of the familiar names we've gotten used to in the lineup, should be expecting 3 points, it feels like.
This is still a strong lineup, too. I understand that, Bjorgolfsson is kind of a fan favorite, just because of what he brings to the entire attack and the whole team. He's this big, strong, almost captain-like player. He can do everything. He can play with his back to goal. He can run on the ball. He can shoot. He can head, all that kind of stuff. But looking at players like Gonzalez, Clardy, Adams, Morrison, all within this attack, and then you got Ferrero, who's consistent, Bozalongo. I mean, this is still a very strong team, and I'm very confident that they can get this win.
We're going to get into the Vermont Green FC starting 11 in a moment, but now let's meet the starters for Pathfinder FC. Their head coach is Kevin Longacre, as I said, currently in 9th place in the division. Looking at this lineup, originally it looks like a 3-4-3 with 4 in the midfield for this team. They like getting their fullbacks involved, in particular number 2 on defense, Stefan de Gink from Netherlands. He is a player who has 5 games played, coming off 80 minutes on Saturday. This is a group, Matt, that really likes going out wide and using their fullbacks when they're going right. What could that pose as far as challenges for Vermont?
I think it potentially, when you play against a team that wants to essentially have very attacking fullbacks, if both teams want to do that, it can almost turn into a little bit of kind of like a defensive stalemate, out on the wings especially, because in a 4-2-3-1, so it's going to be Morrison and Adams. They're going to be a little bit more inverted, and they're going to try to join the attack more centrally into the field. And that means it's going to be up to, the left and the right backs for Vermont Green to still do their defensive duties, and maybe it looks like they're going to hang back a little bit. They might be behind the halfway line a little bit more often in this match. We'll see how it plays out.
How about the starting 11 for Vermont Green FC? They're coming off a win 3-0 on Sunday against Blackwatch Rush. Starting in goal, Nathan Schnurr making his 6th start of the year, Matt, and Matthew Gonsalves up top as Aitor Bjorgolfsson has had his summer come to a close with Vermont Green after a 1-game suspension. Aitor returning to Kentucky this fall, so his time is up in Burlington, but nonetheless, still lots of exciting names in this group.
I mean, what a player to honestly, step into Bjorgolfsson's shoes. Gonzalez brings a totally different style to, that spear point of the attack, but he brings a lot of technique, a lot of technical skills. He brings a ton of speed, and he likes to press. That's something we've noticed out of Vermont Green FC, is that they like to press very high. So I'm looking to see, again, out of the many matches that we've watched where they win the ball high up in the field, they catch the other team kind of sleeping a little bit, get their quick shots on goal. Yeah, I think it's going to be fine.
Gonsalves starting up top. He scored 3 goals on the year. Another name that we have to touch on is Charlie Adams. He's started now 7 straight matches after trying out for this team. He was not even recruited here to Vermont, tried out, made the team. Now he's got 4 goals in the last 6. Matt, what are you looking for tonight with Charlie Adams, who appears to be in great form?
Same thing as everything that I've seen out of him since he's, taken his chance. And literally, once he got his chance, he grabbed it by the collar. He has not let go, and he deserves to be in these lineups. Sometimes there has to be a rotation for minutes. Maybe it's just managing your legs, but otherwise, on form, there's no reason necessarily to be dropping Adams. So, all the credit to him. I'm looking for another big performance out of him.
Vermont in their gorgeous pine dark green alternate uniforms, while Pathfinder in those road white uniforms on the road today. Starting in goal for Pathfinder is Carl Vernet. They're a team that's lost back-to-back games, including a 3-0 dropping to Western Massachusetts. Last time out, just on Saturday, they lost 1-0 to the Boston Bolts. Matt, it's tough for Pathfinder. They're a team that is late in their season. when you're a team like this, you've only got 3 points all year. It was a 2-1 win 2 weeks ago against Blackrock FC. What's the messaging to your team if you're Coach Kevin Longacre just trying to go on the road in a big-time atmosphere, a playoff-like atmosphere, and they're trying to play spoiler tonight? What can that cause?
I mean, confidence is so hard to develop. It usually takes, at least a couple games, couple wins, just like, and sometimes it's even not a win. It's just having good form throughout a match, and okay, maybe you lose one, but are you seeing, everything that you're practicing and all the tactics that you're working on, and is it actually playing out on the field? And when you can't consistently get that, then your head goes down. The whole team starts to kind of break down a little bit. And when you're coming up against Vermont Green FC, who is gunning hot for a playoff spot, and right now they're sitting third. They took their advantage in the last two matches. I would say this is a tough prospect.
Tough prospect indeed for Pathfinder FC as now both sides go through and shake hands. Gabriel Souza is the captain for Pathfinder FC, while back wearing the captain's armband today, Jake Ashford for Vermont Green FC. Recently on the road, Vermont coming off a loss at Blackrock FC 1-0, but then a 3-0 win against Blackwatch Rush. So Matt, last time out, we saw in 2 home games just 1 goal allowed from this Vermont Green defense. On the road trip, just 1 goal allowed across 2 games. They've only allowed 2 in their last 4 matches. Feels like a good run of form for this core defense.
That's literally what you are looking for out of your defense. 2 goals in 4 matches, that's might as well be 0. At that point, like that means that they're giving their midfield and their attack as much of a chance to win the match for them. That is a defensive responsibility, is to really limit it down to 0 or 1, but otherwise just manage the match. And what we've seen out of the form in the last 4 matches, they're doing their job. So all the credit to him.
Jake Ashford making his 13th start. He is the only man in green to start every game. He's amongst the starting defenders. Let's run through Vermont Green starting 11 one more time. Nathan Schnurr starting in goal. Then at defense, it's Ashford and Mark O'Neill in the middle. Garrett Lilly will play wide right, while Carter Bolia plays on the left wing. Then in the midfield, Alfredo Bozalongo partners with Rodrigo Ferreira as the 2 holding midfielders. Then the 3 across as attacking midfielders. It will be Matthew Gonsalves starting above them with Joe Morrison, Jack Cloherty, and Charlie Adams, a pair of brown bears starting next to each other in the midfield. As we get set for kickoff, Matt, I can't help but reflect. The last time we were here, a couple of weeks ago, Vermont Green scored in the first 20 seconds in Game 1. In Game 2, they scored in the first 2 minutes. Can we expect something similar today?
I mean, everything that I've seen out of Vermont Green FC this entire season is they don't sit back. They don't play like a very low block or anything. They're very aggressive. They press high up, and they press as a unit. You'll see Ashford and O'Neill or whoever's in the back line. They push it up. And, I mean, it's been Ashford pretty much the whole time, and he's the captain. He's the one that kind of sets that tone. It always starts from the back. Push up, get 10 feet tighter, whatever it is, go and try and win that ball high up. And that's how you get quick early goals, is you catch, because everyone's cold in the first 5 minutes, but whoever really is gunning for it, and wants to get after it, generally they might be rewarded for it.
2 games remaining in the USL2 regular season. The playoff push is in full form as Vermont Green FC out for 3 points at home against Pathfinder FC. We're underway from Virtue Field, and it's Green in possession first. Union night here at Virtue Field, celebrating and honoring unions across the country. Early ball intended for Garrett Lilly. This is Harkarat Mali, who plays it backwards in defense for Pathfinder FC.
And right away, look, it's a high press. The back line is right on the halfway line right now. They're trying to limit any play through the middle. They want to make it predictable out wide. Everyone's pretty touch tight. This is aggressive.
Gonsalves applying the pressure on Souza, who plays it back to Carl Vernet. Vernet, the 5'9" goalkeeper for Franklin Pierce. Collegiate teammates with Rodrigo Ferreira, the midfielder of Vermont Green. Pressure from Gonsalves and a giveaway. Here's Adams through for Gonsalves. He takes a shove and a penalty kick is coming.
And there it is. You're rewarded for that high press, that aggressive play.
And a red card out of the pocket. Oh my goodness. Barely a minute in and Pathfinder FC goes down a man.
couldn't be a worse start for Pathfinder FC. 1 minute in, and you've got a red card.
Replay right here, Matt. There's the giveaway. Adams for Gonsalves takes the shove from behind. It was Kintrell Hendrickson who committed the foul and got hit with the red. What did you see?
It's absolutely, it's a penalty. I feel like 1 minute in, it's the first mistake of the match. I don't know if that warrants necessarily a red card. There wasn't anything malicious in it. It was a nudge in the back, but you got to live and die by the ref's decisions, and we don't have VAR right now.
The second straight match here at Virtue Field where there have been at least one red card. Standing over the ball, Matthew Gonsalves, as he and Carl Vernet have a conversation. Gonsalves, who has scored 3 goals on the year, has returned to the starting lineup after missing 2 straight. So Pathfinder already in a big hole, now an even bigger one is Gonsalves stepping to the spot on Vernet.
I'm hoping that handshake wasn't, I'm going to purposely miss this out of sportsmanship.
Gonsalves ready. Hesitation, and he buries it. Another ferocious Vermont Green start.
Really good take. Gives him the eyes that he's going to go to his left. Slots it right. It's going to be a long game, I got a feeling, for Pathfinder FC. This is about as bad of a start as you could possibly envision.
They go down to 10 men, the team that is in last place in the Northeast Division. There's another look at the penalty from Gonsalves. He's got his 4th goal on the year, now tied for 3rd on the team. Now Pathfinder just trying to get organized, Matt. They need to change something up as they're playing with 10 men with still 87 minutes and counting to go.
If they were, traditionally playing as that 3 in the back, essentially they're going to have to adjust, and I think it's going to look more like 4 in the back. Otherwise, it could just get rampant.
Second red card this year issued to a Pathfinder FC player. And another poor touch at the back. Souza able to escape. He finds Molly on the outlet. There's Jack Cloherty attempting a tackle. Cloherty making his 2nd consecutive start. He and Charlie Adams, 2 Brown Bears who are playing together in the midfield, starting for the first time together as members for Vermont Green. Malhi on the throw. Daniel Penafil. Cloherty tracks him down. Tackle made by Lilly. And now Joe Morrison sporting a new haircut, and he's taken down and earns the free kick.
I tell you what, I'd like to see Cloherty get another free kick somewhere right outside the 18.
Between Cloherty, Bozalongo, there are some dudes who can hit free kicks on this Green squad.
Absolutely hammered that one in the last match.
Here's Lilly and Rodrigo Ferreira, who's established himself as a key member of the midfield.
And now for Pathfinder FC, this is going to be managing like a terrible situation. It's going to be keep your shape as a whole team very tight, limit everything to like half chances, and see what you can do when you win the ball, like right here. See if you can get on the counter for it, but otherwise they can't get too progressive. Otherwise they're going to be staring down 3-0 in 20 minutes.
Long switch of play intended for Molly. It was the 17-year-old John Forbes, an academy product for Pathfinder FC on the original giveaway. Green ends up regaining possession after the long ball was picked off by the combination of Lilly and Ashford. What changes for the Green? As that's a long ball for Gonsalves that finds Cloherty. You're up a goal and up a man. Can you be more aggressive than you were already planning?
Yeah, you could absolutely dial it up a little bit because think about it, it could go down to essentially, goals for at the end, whoever you're kind of contesting against. But right away, what I'm going to see out of Vermont Green FC is Pathfinder, as I was just saying, is going to stay very compact now. They're going to try to keep everything outside of the middle, so they'll try to keep it out wide as best as they can. And that's still exhausting because they have to shift left and right. And if Vermont Green FC is smart, they're going to just rock the boat until they're too exhausted, and those spaces in the middle will open up.
This is Morrison working through the midfield nicely. Bozalongo inside the 18. Bozalongo starts to retreat back for Joe Morrison. That pass ricocheted off Bozolongo, eventually to the feet of Ferreira. So calm, Rodrigo Ferreira. Adams.
This is even the more exhausting part, too, is the center forward for Pathfinder is going to have to do a lot of defensive work, and that's not what you necessarily want.
Hugo Soriat, number 23, is playing up top at the moment for Pathfinder. Here's Soriat with Garrett Lilly putting a shoulder into him. Ferreira took it away, but a foul earlier. I believe Lilly the one who got whistled for it. Entering the 8th minute of early action, Vermont Green already up 1-0 on a penalty kick taken by Matthew Gonsalves. A dream start for Vermont Green, who, as it stands right now, are on the inside of the USL2 playoff picture. They are in 3rd in the Northeast Division of the Eastern Conference and currently hold the tiebreaker over 3rd place in the Metropolitan Division, Hudson Valley. Both teams at 7-4-1 as the free kick redirected towards the sidelines. Pathfinder not able to get any action on the free kick. So Vermont Green right now, 2 games to play, even with Hudson Valley in points. They've got the goal differential lead, and they have a chance to really pad that lead tonight.
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to touch on what you were talking about, how it's, the 3rd time necessarily that they've gotten a goal within the first 5 minutes, and it's a funny game how it works sometimes. Some teams, they develop like a weird trend, and sometimes it's very advantageous. You'll see teams that get that last goal in the 90th minute, like just fight to the death and they get a result out of it. Or you'll see teams that will go down 2-3-0 and come back and tie it 3-1 or win 4-3. And then there's teams who they just get after you right in the beginning and they get that early goal. And I think that's just kind of like a characteristic or,
no
something about them.
No question about it. As offsides called against Pathfinder, this team has gotten leads in almost every match. This is the 13th match day of 14 in the regular season for Vermont Green. They've lost 4 games, tied 1. Of those 5 games where they have not taken maximum points, they've had a lead in 3 of them. So they've led out of 13 games at some point in 10 of the 13. Make that 11 of the 13, pardon me. So this team has played with leads a lot.
They score. I mean, they don't have a problem scoring goals. And when, you can bring up the matches where they either lost or they essentially lost the lead at some point in the match for it, I chalk that up more to it's just a limited amount of time together so that you can really get like a game plan all together and everyone's in sync with one another defensively or off the ball for it. And that's just more so like you only have like a limited amount of time with each other.
Stefan Deichkink on the right side. He's their best right back. Also operates within the Pathfinder FC Academy, coaches some of their lower level teams, really understands this system. Deichkink is a guy that when talking with the Pathfinder coaches, they circled as a key if they were going to find a way to get points today. Here's Lilly.
I don't think Deichkink is going to find a lot of time going forward or any of, either the left or the right back for Pathfinder. At this point, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be on the counterattack, or it might be just like a, break up a play maybe in the midfield for it. But otherwise, it's going to be a very defensive work day for them.
Already down a goal and down to 10 men. Ferreira easily into space for the left back, Boleu. Morrison brings it down. Corner kick for the Green.
Really great takedown, to create his chance, using his body for it. I like seeing that.
This is a different look attacking group for Vermont Green. No Bilal Kamal, no Aitor Bjorgolfsson. Diba Nwegbo still battling an ankle injury that he's trying to fight through. So some of those early season regulars no longer there. Bozolongo, though, who's about to take the corner. One of a few who have helped this attack and the depth. That's Ashford. Jake Ashford has loved himself a set piece. He's got 3 goals on the summer as a defender. 2 UVM players. This is Morrison from Lilly. Now Adams. A brown bear to brown bear finds Cloherty. Now Ferreira. Picked off. Well read by Molly.
Right away, Green just sucking the air out of the play. Just everyone pressing together. Almost looks like Liverpool, but in green.
Well, when you're up a man, that's easy. But
yeah, sure.
They are flying to the ball at the moment.
I think that's mentality. You know, they smell a second, third goal. They want to run the score up.
Nutmeg from Adams, and that's beautiful. Oh, wonderful stuff as Bozolongo finds Bolia.
And this is where it gets exhausting for any team that goes a man down and so early. And I mean, right now they're thinking like, how do we get an equalizer for it, and how do we get on the ball? But for Vermont Green FC in this situation, they can take their time a little bit with it. They don't actually have to necessarily go as hard as they want. Sure, they can find the advantageous moment.
Oh, Morrison! Oh, Morrison off the crossbar. Adams tracks down the rebound.
As I'm saying.
Man, Joe Morrison, that was pretty stuff. Bozolongo, the one who was able to pick him out, and now Garrett Lilly just bulldogging his way into the corner. He's tackled off of Lilly. It's a goal kick. Another good look, though, for Green. Carl Vernet was beaten as the keeper. Here's a look at it. What a touch.
Yeah, just a little flick with the outside of the foot. Oh, great strike, too, on the one time. The ball just sat just right for him.
Morrison, one of those Vermont Green players who has not been a regular in the lineup. He's seen his name pop up in the 11 every now and then.
I remember watching Morrison in the last couple seasons, especially last season on that really great playoff run for UVM, and he was absolutely influential in it. And I think, you gotta eat the sandwich that the coach gives you. If you don't like the taste of it, it is what it is, but you got to fight through it. And I meant that in kind of like his playing time. And
sure.
I like seeing already like his form the last couple times that I've seen him play. Is he's been aggressive. He's got a positive attitude on the field. Right away, we're seeing him. He's like, no, I want to make my mark. If we're going to go to the playoffs, I want to be involved heavily in the starting 11.
And especially, as I said, Nwegbo, who is available tonight, but potentially limited action. He's a little bit banged up. You don't have Bjorgolfsson anymore. Bilal Kamal is a bit of a question mark at this point. There are some spots outside of Charlie Adams for people to take one of these attacking positions.
Yeah, I mean, right now is the absolute opportune time if you are going to be around for the rest of the season and potentially going into the playoffs for it.
Takeaway with Cloherty. Lilly. All sorts of room for Bozolongo. Again, he finds Morrison. Morrison, it's saved by Vernet. Good first stop for Pathfinder's goalie.
He's feeling it, though. Just the touch under pressure, too, just to create it. He takes one touch on the turn, takes his shot with his left foot. I don't even know if he's necessarily predominantly left-footed.
I couldn't tell you either. He showed us skill with both feet already tonight. In the 15th minute, Vermont Green scored in the first 3 on a penalty kick. Bozolongo escapes pressure, and now Bolia's coming forward. The Binghamton Bearcat Bolia. Mark O'Neill, he scored a great goal last time we were here at Virtue Fields.
Bozolongo and Ferrer are having a good time together. Something I've just kind of immediately noticed in the midfield. They're keeping it very simple. It's not a little too much. They're looking for the forward pass, but then if it's not immediately on for it, both of them are supporting each other really well. And again, touching on that, how it's going to play out when a team has to be very compact when they're a man down. They know exactly like, all right, this is how we're going to just break this down. We're just going to absolutely grind them out. They're going to have to come out to the ball. And right now we're seeing them play it out as they should.
From what we've seen, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the trio of Bozolongo, Ferreira, and off the bench tonight, Daniel Pacella, they've all played that holding midfield spot. I think you could argue it's been the most consistent group for Coach Pfeifer and his staff.
Yeah, absolutely. I would completely agree with that. We've seen, it rotate, like you've said, a couple different times, and I never necessarily noticed like a drop-off in form or style of play of how, Adams wants his team to play for it. So that's a lot of credit to the coaching staff, the recruiting, and to the players.
Ashford comes over to help out Bolia, as it was Deshkink who was starting to wriggle his way up the right side. Stays in play. Pathfinder will attempt some possession. This is the 17-year-old John Forbes.
Great touch.
A really skillful player. Deshkink wanted that in front of him. That's the type of stuff they're looking for from that right back, Stefan Deshkink, who hails from Netherlands. He really is starting to press his way up the right side of the field.
He's going to have to be patient, though. You know, it's not going to be like 10 different opportunities for it. It might only look like 4 opportunities, and if he doesn't get it one at a time, keep going.
Clarity tackles it away. No, he commits the foul on Ekzu Makunga. Makunga's been playing centrally for Pathfinder. And a free kick just outside the attacking third for Pathfinder FC.
Little too central, and, you know, well, one, you're not going to have a shot, and if you do and you score it, well, that's it. I quit. But otherwise, you know, this is going to be kind of something out wide, and I'm going to look for, you know, Vermont Green FC to keep like a nice defensive shape.
Dennis Koch takes it. That was almost a good chance for Soriat. Just could not rise up. Couldn't quite test Vermont's keeper, Nathan Schnurr, but nonetheless, not necessarily heart in throat, but certainly the first bit of nerves or first chance at all for Pathfinder.
Yeah, a decent, you know, attack style of play for it.
That's going to have to be how they score, right? Potentially off a set piece.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's something you'd look for the foul somewhere close on the 18. Yeah. That's going to be a great opportunity.
Vermont Green's defense has been stifling at home. In general, they've just been a really good home team. 4-1 here at Virtue Field compared to 3-1 on the road. At home, Matt, they're allowing just 0.8 goals per game, scoring over 2.5.
Right away, you know, remember talking before the first home match with Coach Adams is like, well, what's going to be your kind of playing styles? Like, I even asked him, I was like, are you a romantic about the game? And he kind of chuckled. He's like, well, yes, if you are in this game, you should be a romantic about it. But the way that he's been approaching it is we need to get our defensive shape and system in place first, and then we'll figure out the 1,000 ways that we could score a goal.
That was a great question you asked him, as here's Lilly for Ferreira, out for a Vermont Green corner. Ferreira clamoring for a handball. It took Adam about 5 or 8 minutes to answer that question when you asked him. You could tell he was very romantic about it and romantic about the style he wanted to play, I felt like, but had to kind of temper that for what this league is needed from him as a coach.
Exactly, and it always keeps going back to the limited amount of time that
right.
you have. Like, these are very talented players, but you need to get your defensive shape and system in place first. And then, you know, you can figure out, okay, well, what's my best lineup to get those goals?
Gonsalves went up for it. Ashford wide for Adams. On his left, Charlie Adams just got underneath it. He was asking for a touch in another corner. Our referee denies him there, and it's a goal kick for Pathfinder.
Yeah, I think he just chopped it a little bit.
Again, Ashford getting his nose in the thick of things on a set piece. Pathfinder will again try to work it out of the back. Pathfinder down to 10 men after a red card to Kintrell Hendrickson in the first 5 minutes, resulting in a Vermont Green penalty kick that Matthew Gonsalves put home. And since then, it has been basically a one-sided match. Down the line, Bolia on the overlap. He picks out Gonsalves, tried to squeak it through. Adams wrestling forward, and he does track it down. Tons of numbers forward for Green.
It feels like it's just going to be a...
and Adams is dancing with it, and he earns a free kick. Charlie Adams digging into his bag.
It feels like it's just a matter of time. And Pathfinder FC can feel that, you know. They can smell it coming. They're not getting up the field. They're not getting enough time in the ball. They're getting tired. Even just 20 minutes in when you're just chasing. And Vermont Green FC just looks confident. They look smooth.
Yeah. It's been an easy first 20 minutes for Vermont Green.
Yep.
Not stressed, not pressured, just going about their business. Again, Bozalongo standing over the free kick. The William and Mary man into the mixer. It gets chopped down. Gonsalves!
Still alive.
Outside the reach of O'Neill, where John Forbes beats him to it. The 17-year-old Forbes draws the foul. Pretty good defensive work from the Pathfinder Academy man. This Pathfinder FC Academy started 3 years ago. John Forbes was part of that inaugural class that this academy was really created for. And now he's a player that's getting Division I looks, still in high school, yet to decide where he'll be attending college. But John Forbes, a future star and maybe a current big piece to this Pathfinder group.
Yeah, what little I've been able to see him on the ball, though, it's been really positive. He's got a very immaculate close touch, good technique on the ball. He takes up really good little spots on the field. It's if I was a neutral or whatever, I'd love to see him kind of just like in a little bit more of an equal match and kind of see how he looks.
Ferreira, a brick wall in the midfield. There he is. And Bozalongo turns his back to goal. He gets bungled over by Pfeifer. And a yellow card shown, in fact, to David Pfeifer. So the second Pathfinder FC man in the books as Pfeifer joins Hendrickson, who was shown the red. Just more things going the way of Vermont Green. But that was Ferreira and Bozalongo. They've been flexing their muscles a little bit in the midfield.
The ref definitely is card happy.
Yeah.
Some refs are, some refs aren't.
Yep.
The last home match, we didn't see the ref necessarily pull out a card, I think, for the entire first half. And then it was all cards, in the second half for it.
There was one big 10-minute stretch of cards.
There was. Very memorable. But, yeah, now, Pathfinder FC's got a midfielder on a yellow, and they're going to need to press. They're going to need to tackle, so it's going to need to be perfect out of them.
Ashford can roam forward. Oh, what a beautiful touch for Adams. Adams towards Gonsalves, but it was just behind him. Waiting at the back post was Dash King. Jack Clorty, room to hit, just drags it wide of the posts. And Carl Vernet urging his team up the field, begging them to get away from his 6-yard box.
Adams doing a phenomenal job, though, and just absolute pace on him. But he didn't even take the touch inside and whipped across hard with his right. And it was actually perfect weight, perfect height, everything. Just wasn't somebody there to get on it.
Charlie Adams is maybe the biggest success story on the field for Vermont Green this summer. Adams heard about the team through a friend. He and Jack Clorty then came to try out, both Brown Bears that played together 4 times in the fall season. Adams then made the team, wasn't really playing much at the start of the year, but worked his way onto the roster. Then when he got on the pitch, he worked his way into the starting 11. And now he has become the must-start man. He is, as you said, undroppable, Matt. Adams has become the focal point to this offense, especially without Bjorgolfsson.
Yeah, and that's, at the highest level that we've all watched, you've seen players that just aren't getting minutes. They're not starting. Whatever is your favorite Premier League team or La Liga team, whatever it is, and there's players that are clearly very, very skilled, but they're not getting in yet because somebody's also performing right in front of them. You have to do your job in that meantime. You have to stay ready. You have to be ready to take over. And now Adams is showing that he's been training hard. He's been listening to the coaches. He's been focusing on all the tactics, all the little things, working on his game, and now he's being rewarded for it.
O'Neal stepping forward. Mark O'Neal scored on a similar setup last game. He takes a rip, scooped that one, pitching wedge over the bar. Another goal kick for Pathfinder FC. Pathfinder is doing a good job, Matt. There haven't been that many looks in close. A couple of shots from distance for Vermont Green, but nothing really threatening to Vernet.
Yeah, there was a couple kind of like a little hearts and mouths moments for him, but otherwise, yeah, that's what I was expecting to kind of see is the second they're off the ball, you see him drop, and then all of a sudden it just gets very compact, and everything has to kind of go out wide. So you're going to see lots of probably crosses, unless it's kind of just a high press and they win it. Vermont Green FC just wins it in the field.
Lilly wins that ball way up in the air. Gonsalves going shoulder to shoulder with Makunga. Lilly comes over to help out. There's Mark O'Neal.
4 Vermont Green FC players coming in to win that ball again, though. That's, aggressive defensive behavior, and I like it.
Joe Morrison going shoulder to shoulder with Diego Sanchez, and Sanchez takes a tumble, tripping over the end line, and a stern warning for Morrison from our referee. This Pathfinder group, they've struggled this year. Just 1 win out of 12 games. Currently in last in the Northeast Division standings. But they've been playing better. Last time out, they only lost 1-0 to the Boston Bolts. A tough 3-0 loss to Western Massachusetts, but Western Mass is one of, if not the best team in the league. And then 3 matches ago, they had their first win of the year against Blackrock FC, a team that Vermont Green recently lost to. So while there has been some adversity for Pathfinder, they are certainly playing their best football at the moment. Quick free kick taken by Vermont Green. Again, Morrison and Sanchez bumping bodies, and it's out for a Green corner.
and shepherd the ball out of play. Well, accidentally touching themselves and put it out. It's going to be another corner for Vermont Green.
Bozalongo again will step over it. This is Jake Ashford territory. He scored 3 goals this year, all 3 of them off of set pieces.
It's clear that Bozalongo is kind of the set piece specialist on this one with his left foot. He's got a strong left foot on him, so not surprised to see it.
The William and Mary man. A pretty look. O'Neal went up and barely missed the target. Mark O'Neal had the clean look. O'Neal, who scored last time we were here. His older brother Shane, currently a player for Toronto FC. Shane O'Neal has made 15 appearances for Toronto so far this year. Previously, he played for Seattle. The O'Neals, Matt, they're a talented family. Not just Shane, but Mark has 5 siblings. His older brother Dara was a punter for the Colorado Buffaloes out in Colorado. And his older brother Enda was the captain at Wisconsin on the soccer team. So the O'Neals, talented group, and Mark has made an impact for Vermont Green.
Clearly, soccer royalty within the United States, you'd say, like a long lineage of it.
Long lineage of that crew.
One of my kind of favorite things about O'Neal and the Ashford partnership, and as center backs, is O'Neal is kind of a little bit more the aggressive one, and you've heard me, coin the term. Ashford is the Rolls Royce of the center backs, and they definitely partner with each other really, really well. O'Neal will go and win the ball. Ashford will kind of hold the space and just be kind of the safety net.
The 2 Creighton Blue Jays. This is Mark O'Neal. Shot deflected. Rebounds around and bombed up into the air by Dennis Koch. Oh, a big fall in the middle of the field. That was Bolia who went tumbling.
Felt like that was Harry Kane under him doing the old,
Yeah, the little
butt
shrug
back.
under, yeah.
That annoys the heck out of me when that happens to me.
Well, yeah, when it happens to you, I mean, of course it's going to annoy. Nobody wants to fall on their back like that. That looks painful. And now a stoppage in action and a look to the sideline. Sub coming up for Pathfinder FC. Headed towards the sidelines, their starting striker, Hugo Soriat.
Did we see like an injury or anything?
I don't think so necessarily. Now, Soriat only played 10 minutes on Saturday a few days ago, so maybe that's just the game plan. While this is Joseph Dolan from Mount St. Mary's. Dolan, another forward. He played all 90 minutes on Saturday. And now Dolan repping the armband. He gets the handoff from Gabriel Souza.
I mean, it could be tactical. We don't know necessarily. Maybe Dolan essentially brings something different, especially in like this scenario for it, and that's what the coach is seeing for
Sure.
it. I wasn't seeing, the center forward getting a ton of time on the ball anyways. So
Bolia on the switch from Ashford. Drives ahead, picks out Morrison. Bolia continues the run. Trying to turn the corner. It pinballs off of Bolia. Goal kick.
now, it's only 30 minutes in, and there's no one's at panic stations or anything like that. You're up 1-0. You're up a man. I can understand that you can just take your time and control the match and maybe not burn yourself out or anything. But considering that you are gunning for a playoff position, I feel like Coach Adam and his staff, they don't want this to carry on 1-0 too far into the match. You want that second goal cushion, and then you want your players not to have to take so much recovery time following already a pretty quick turnaround to a match coming up on Sunday.
Matthew Gonsalves showing the pace. He's just beaten to it by Souza, who gives up the throw to Gonsalves and the green. Next up is Western Massachusetts here at home. A game that I think we've had circled on the calendar for a while, not just because it's the last regular season match, but a chance for Vermont Green to avenge a 3-2 loss. A game in which they came from behind to tie it just before the 90th minute, but allowed a game winner in stoppage time for Western Massachusetts. So Vermont Green might be looking for revenge in that Western Massachusetts game on Sunday, just a few days ahead.
I think it's just a different team formalized from the first time playing Western Massachusetts to this point now, and I think there's a whole lot more confidence in, basically getting one back.
Gonsalves, what a save! Vernet has the stop. Matthew Gonsalves threatens the piping, but a good stop from Carl Vernet, who has been pretty good when forced into action.
He's kept his team in this. I think that's probably like the fourth kind of within 6 feet shot, at him and making the stop.
That's his best save of the day.
Yeah.
What a move. Tried to beat him near post, but Vernet, who plays, as I said, for Franklin and Pierce, had the save. Bozolongo on the corner. It's Ashford. Vernet bobbles. Not a steady hand, but it does bounce off the woodwork, and Vernet eventually grabs it.
He's hot right now. Goalkeepers, when they start making save after save after save, they're getting hot at that point.
This is a guy who has really been tested all season. Vernet making his 12th start. Doesn't always play the full 90. They like to rotate their goalies. He's allowed 22 goals in 11 games, but he's made 45 saves coming in. That's over 4 saves a game for Vernet.
Rotating goalies in a match,
last time out.
Not for me.
Yeah, last time out, Vernet played 45. As a free header for Gonsalves, flag was up, so maybe that bails him out. Adams put it on a dime.
Still got to do better. He's got to put that on frame.
Things all of a sudden happening at a rapid pace. Gonsalves, the goal scorer, the latest to get a couple of good chances on Carl Vernet's cage. But Vernet this season, I know save percentage, not necessarily a huge statistic for goalies in soccer, but he's saving 67% of the shots on target. That's a pretty good number when you're seeing the volume of shots that he's seeing when he's in there.
Yeah, if you're taking that many shots for it, like say you took 15 shots in a match, there's probably going to be one that's going to go in, maybe 2 after that. So 67 is a pretty good return for a goalkeeper, especially if you're telling me that he's actually getting rotated in a match, which is wild to me, but it is what it is.
They don't rotate him every match, but they have a couple times recently. Sebastian Montelou is the backup goalie both today and last time out he came off the bench in a 1-0 loss to Boston. He's made 4 appearances on the year in 12 games, while it's 11 appearances for Vernet. So they have split on occasion. We're not totally certain of if that's the strategy today or not, but Vernet holding his own in the first half.
You absolutely do not take him out of this match right now with what he's been doing.
Gonsalves' first touch a bit wild. And he's brought to the ground, keeps possession with Bolia. And now it's a Pathfinder player who's down. He and Gonsalves were tangled up, and I wonder if something happened on the fall.
Yeah, referees calling over immediately. I think he just fell wrong. Maybe we'll see a replay.
Looks like he's getting stretched out at the moment on the far sideline. 1-0 as it stands. In the 35th minute of the first half, Vermont Green FC scored 3 minutes into the match on a Matthew Gonsalves penalty kick.
Here we see.
I wonder if he just got, he kind of got fallen on top of there by Gonsalves. It was a bit awkward.
I think he took the heel studs right to the hip. That stinks.
Yeah, that would hurt.
Yeah.
Some metal into your side.
That's the hardest part. No, thankfully these guys would not be wearing studs.
No, that is Diego Sanchez who's back up. Just trying to catch his breath over there, Sanchez.
Right now, you're seeing Vermont Green FC's staff just kind of talking about finishing out the rest of this half, talking tactics, whatever it is. This is a good time to kind of collect everybody and say, okay, here's where we're looking really good on the field. Here's where we can improve.
Where can they improve?
It's a really hard question.
So maybe they're playing well. I think that's probably then the message from the coaching staff. They like what they're seeing.
I would say keep up, pretty much the same for it. It's more so, can we look for that kind of like almost direct pass through the middle a little bit, like looking for that, because those are the most dangerous chances when you can get to one of your forwards like more centrally instead of kind of these crosses.
That was Ferreira trying to go to Clarity in the middle. Pumped out wide. Bolia chases it down. Morrison ahead. As the sun is peeping back out at Virtue Field. Bolia on the overlap. Waiting is Clarity. Heads it towards the back post. Bozalongo on the volley. A one-hopper for Vernet to gobble into his stomach.
And this is kind of maybe a little bit of, where you miss a Bjorgolfsson is somebody with so much whip and power and height on a cross. Is somebody that you can probably put it within 10 feet of him. He'll still get on the end of it, or at least take it down with his chest, because he's a big lad.
Again, Aitor Bjorgolfsson, it was always scheduled after the last home match. That was going to be his last match for Vermont Green FC before he returns to school in the fall. A lot of these guys do have limits coming into the season. So Bjorgolfsson no longer with the squad. Vermont Green without their leading goal scorer. Up a goal and up a man as Harkarat Mali earns a throw-in for Pathfinder. First time in a while I've looked to my left and had a glance at Nathan Schnurr.
Yep.
It's been a tilted field. That's a back heel, but Garrett Lilly easily there.
Oh, is he going to call a corner? No.
No, that goes as a goal kick. I thought it looked like it might have been off of Lilly. Goal kick for Vermont Green.
And that's where it's just going to be so frustrating, too, for Pathfinder. That was probably the second time we've seen, essentially them getting forward and up on the left side for it, and nothing happened.
Lilly room to turn. He's got runners. Through for Gonsalves. Matthew Gonsalves. It's saved by Vernet, and he pounces on it. Carl Vernet somehow keeps it a one-goal deficit.
Man of the match right now. Having an absolute match.
That was a good look for Matthew Gonsalves on the feed from Lilly. That's kind of what you were asking for, though, from Lilly or anybody at the back. Playing it forward for one of the forwards to get after.
Yeah, it wasn't wide. That was a very direct pass that led right onto Gonsalves, and that's what I want to kind of see.
Lilly starting to feel it. Pings it out to Morrison.
Wow.
And Joe does a great job bringing it down. Morrison. Bozalongo. It's Gonsalves off the bar again. The second time that Vermont has crushed the crossbar. Both Morrison and now Gonsalves ringing the bar above Carl Vernet.
This is good, though. This is what you want to see. There was kind of a lull a little bit, kind of these crosses and chances. This is the aggression that you saw out of Vermont Green in that first 10 minutes.
There's the through ball.
He waits, too. Vernet waits just for the right moment. He doesn't go to ground too soon. He waits just till he knows he's going to take that touch. It's really good form.
Could Gonsalves have had a better first touch there? Looked like it maybe just ran away from him.
Yeah, if you and I wanted to kind of nitpick it a little bit, and like anybody could.
I guess that's what I was doing.
Yeah, it's like, well, could have been a foot closer, and then, yeah, that's it. It's probably a goal, but it's turf. It's tough.
Sure.
It's fast.
Green pressing. Lilly feels a double team. Molly. Both he and Lilly go to ground. Souza pops it out of bounds, conceding a throw-in. Now here's a look at the ball off the crossbar, Matt. Bozalongo, the feed.
The touch that led up to the potential assist. Little technique, little dink with the outside of the foot. I love it. That's soccer.
Bozalongo is classy in the midfield.
Yeah, I've really liked what I've seen out of him.
I tell you what, I'm becoming a William and Mary fan. Between Deben Nwegbo, Nathan Messer, and Alfredo Bozalongo, all three of those guys, second-team all-conference last year. I think the Tribe might have a good crew going forward.
They're easy to like, but I don't know. I'm kind of digging my Creighton guys. They're
Hard
solid
to argue.
In the back,
It's been a fun summer with some big groups of guys from all over the country coming to join Vermont Green, from all over the world, as players internationally have come and joined the squad.
There's a really good camaraderie and kind of brotherhood to this team, and like you couldn't necessarily fault players for they're like, okay, this is sort of a job. I'm coming here for 2 months, maybe a little bit longer, whatever. But
Garrett Lilly, optimistic from deep. It's Vermont who's there.
But you see like a friendship. You see this is a team, and that's something I give a lot of credit to Adam. Is he's facilitated. He's put them in a situation to really become a good team together. And you never see them necessarily like negatively chirping at each other. They're very supportive of one another, and I love seeing it. It's a lot of fun watching these guys.
Somehow Ferreira out of the mess. The Portuguese international down the line for Gonçalves. Gonçalves on the attack, steps inside the 18, jumping over Dajink. Chips it wide. Cloherty. Oh, what a touch. Jack Cloherty. 2-0 Vermont Green. Absolute class from Jack Cloherty.
Cloherty gets a ton of credit for that touch and that goal. But Daniel Gonçalves with the assist. The little feet to the assist.
First of the year for Jack Cloherty. Gonçalves danced his way to a dangerous spot and put it on a dime, and Cloherty did the rest.
Let's look at this little dink from Gonçalves here, too.
Whoop.
And sees it, chipping wedge coming out. Doop. Oh, and the one touch.
Oh.
Gets split. Waits. Oh. Was that Cloherty?
Oh, yeah, that was
Cloherty?
30. Yep, Cloherty.
It was a bad angle for me. I kind of thought somebody else just crashed into it. There you go.
2-0 Vermont Green, and that's the second goal they knew they needed and we knew they were looking for.
Now you are 100% in the driving seat.
Up a man and up by 2 goals. That's Cloherty's first of the year for Vermont Green. The assist from Matthew Gonçalves is his second. Cloherty and Charlie Adams have played together before. They're both members of the Brown soccer team, and they've been very productive when they've played together. They started 4 times together for Brown this year, and in those 4 games, both in the starting 11, they combined for 2 goals and 2 assists.
That says a lot.
Those two play together, they play well. Souza, as Pathfinder need a couple. Dashkink. Forbes takes a hip check, and Cloherty commits the foul.
And in the absence of a regular starter like Kamal, Cloherty has shown that again, just like Adams and these other players, that they've been training hard. They've been waiting for their moment to take it, and they're doing it.
Stepping in, no problem. This is the best look though for Pathfinder FC to give Nathan Schnurr some trouble. The substitute Joseph Dolan, along with Dennis Koch, the two likely to take it at the moment.
It's not the craziest distance. If somebody's got a hammer on them, they could test. They could test Schnurr.
This is definitely within striking distance. The left foot of Dolan, the right foot of Koch. It's Dolan into the wall.
You can see he had the power on it.
Souza rushed one from way beyond the 18. And Vermont Green likely to take a 2-goal lead into the half.
If I'm Pathfinder FC too, one, he didn't look like he was very confident about taking that shot for it too, but you haven't had much of the ball the entire match. Maybe you just keep the ball, wait till you can kind of get it out wide, take a breather. You just are now down 2-0.
Garrett Lilly climbs the ladder. And now on the break again. Just getting there in the nick of time is Sanchez. And the flag is up. Ooh, big hit. Jake Ashford won't like that. Flag was up, and Ashford now going shoulder to shoulder. Schnurr got rocked.
Schnurr's being cool about it, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, all right, I get it. You're frustrated. It was kind of a 50-50. He's like, all right, everyone just calm down. Let's not have...
Great stuff there from Nathan Schnurr. He was the one who broke it all up.
Yeah, it's, he didn't know. And it was like, it's a tiny bit cheap. But Schnurr's not even, like, that mad about it. He's just, like, just being a man about it.
And that's David Penafil, who took a last-second lunge and ran right into Nathan Schnurr. Schnurr has quite the size advantage on Penafil.
Yeah, goalkeepers, they got to screw loose somewhere. They're a bird of
Yeah,
different
he
flight.
took a lick there, but
Yeah.
I don't think he took offense to it.
Nah.
He
was probably bored.
I was going to say, he bounced up looking like, all right, I'm part of the action now.
Exactly. It's like, oh, finally some action.
Schnurr has been very good, splitting time with Nate Silvera. The two keepers for Vermont Green have been the anchors of this defense. It's the 6th start of the year for Schnurr, while Silvera, the America East goalkeeper of the year, has made 7 starts.
Can the boys make it 3 and ruin my halftime analysis?
Lilly and Ashford. O'Neal puts his head to the ground. Leading ball for Bolia. Into extra time of the first half. Vermont Green maybe looking for a third. They've got an extra man, and they've been using it well. Bolia runs out of real estate along the end line. Right-footed cross. Gonsalves arrives. He and Vernet bump into each other. Another collision involving a goalie. I did not think when Bolia crossed that anybody had a shot at getting on the end of it, but Gonsalves appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's Gonsalves being, what do they call, a fox in the box? Has a lot of pace, like in very quick steps.
He is quite the athlete. Matthew Gonsalves, he's pesky. Just kind of annoying up there. Great athlete, good jumper, great pace. A proven finisher. He's got a couple of assists on the year as well. Cornell have to be very pleased with the summer that he's had.
Gonsalves is the type of striker that did not like, essentially defending. I would have actually, believe it or not, rather had a Bjorgolfsson. He's like, you can tap one side of Bjorgolfsson, maybe he's going to turn to the other side thinking that I'm holding maybe his left, those kind of things, or you can get physical with him.
Right.
Chasing after your guy. Gonsalves is exhausting.
With he's a gnat. He's hard to catch.
Yeah.
Just annoying enough, and he can hurt you.
He's got those little technique feet.
Behind Joe Morrison. One touch to Ferreira from Adams, who gives it right back.
There's just so much time on the ball from Green FC.
Oh,
too.
Adams finds Clarity. Flag was up, and he whiffed on the shot. That pass was just barely a step behind Clarity, and that ends the first 45. Matthew Gonsalves, the first of the 2 goals, and then it was Jack Clarity with his first for Vermont Green. Yes, boys, hashtag up the green. A great first half for Vermont in a must-win game. 3 points on the line. We'll have the halftime report in just a few minutes. Coming up next, this is Vermont Green FC football. A 2-0 halftime lead for Vermont Green FC over Pathfinder FC in a must-win game. Brian McLaughlin here with Matt Montel. Matt, we're going to break down the first 2 goals of the first half. Let's take a look at the first one as Matthew Gonsalves started the scoring. Again, a red-hot start for Vermont Green as they score in the first few minutes again.
And it all starts from what we were talking about, that aggressive start to the match. He gets on the ball, draws the foul out. It's kind of a silly foul. I don't believe it's a red card. That's a good take for the penalty. Gives him the eyes and goes to the right.
Kentrell Hendrickson, the one who picked up the red card as Vermont Green took the 1-0 lead, but then there was a bit of a lull before they were able to find really some pressure, putting all sorts of action on Carl Vernet, and then finally they are able to bury the second on a great play from Gonsalves and Clarity.
Yeah, Clarity's first touch to split the defense was great, but looking at this, the little feet hop over.
I love the hop.
He pulls out the pitching wedge, finds his man, great touch, splits him, buries it.
Jack Clarity, his first goal for Vermont Green FC, putting the guys in green up by 2 at the break. Matt and I will step aside. We'll be right back with more Matt's thoughts when we return. This is Vermont Green football. Back at Virtue Field in Burlington, Vermont, 2-0 the score at the half as Vermont Green FC leads Pathfinder FC. I'm Brian McLaughlin. He's Matt Montel. Matt, a very relaxed vibe in the first half as Vermont Green scored in the first 3 minutes, and then from there, pretty dominant.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for a better start. That aggressive play, you get rewarded for it. They get the penalty, and then from there, it's kind of... You see Pathfinder FC, they get real compact, everything, then you can just start dominating the midfield. You can start playing it out wide. It gets exhausting for Pathfinder FC from there, and that's exactly what you want to see about it, from a team that's a man up, is control the play, control the game from there. You should be. You're one man up.
It's a must-win for Vermont Green. They've got a big one next time out against Western Massachusetts, and they're playing without Aitor Bjorgolfsson, who is not going to be with the team the rest of the year. We're wondering who's going to be the guy up top, Matt. Matthew Gonsalves got his shot in the first half, and he contributed on both goals.
Yeah, I mean, he's taken his chance, and, yes, they play very differently than one another for it, but he's showing Coach Adam that, listen, I can lead this line. I can be your guy. We've seen him, essentially play with his back to goal. We've seen him get his head on crosses. We've seen him with that quick little touches and those little techniques.
Little hop?
Yeah, that little hop going in. And then the pitching wedge right there for, to get the assist to Clardy. Like, I'm loving what I'm seeing out of Gonsalves. It's really good to see.
2-0 is the score. It was Gonsalves, then Clardy, who scored for Vermont. We're back at Virtue Field in Burlington for the second half as Vermont Green FC is leading Pathfinder FC 2-0. Brian McLaughlin and Matt Montel with you. Matt, a relaxed vibe to the first half after Pathfinder went down a man in the first 3 minutes. And from there, it's been exactly what that tweet's saying. A great evening for football. Vermont has clearly enjoyed themselves.
Yep, and I think we're going to see that carry into the second half from Vermont Green FC. It's going to be probably a very controlled match from them, waiting, to find their chances for it. I don't think it's going to be a hurried match or, high intensity necessarily. They're probably going to look for their third goal and then just take the life out of the game.
2 substitutions coming on for both sides. It is a goalkeeper change for Pathfinder FC. Sebastian Montelou is coming on as the goalie for Pathfinder, while it's going to be Diba Nwegbo and Nathan Messer joining for Vermont Green. Messer in for Bolia at left back, and Diba Nwegbo will likely play somewhere amongst the front four, just not quite sure where Diba will slot into this point.
Oh, can you imagine playing a man down for an entire half as like on the right side of defense? And then the next thing you know, Messer's coming in. Yeah,
Nathan Messer joining the Vermont Green side. He's been maybe as impressive as anybody, as well as Diba Nwegbo. This is Joe Morrison, and we're underway, the second 45. Here's Nathan Messer, another William and Mary member of the tribe. Easily puts Adams in a dangerous spot. Gonsalves back to goal. He's dragged down, and it's taken away from him by Joseph Dolan.
Great positioning from Ashford as usual.
He takes it away on the long ball towards Makunga. Vermont sticking with the same 4-2-3-1 formation, again playing up a man after Kintrell Hendrickson was hit with a red card, a straight red 3 minutes in. That resulted in the Gonsalves penalty. Looks like with Jack Clardy, who scored the second goal for Vermont, out of the game, Adams is playing centrally. Diba Nwegbo is wide right with Morrison wide left, and Gonsalves still the target up top.
That's the luxury of having a player like Adam too, is you can literally play him left side, central, right side. Doesn't matter where. He brings the same thing to it.
There are 4 guys up there right now who really could play all 4 in Nwegbo, Adams, Morrison, and Gonsalves.
Yeah, they're all very fluid. They're all very flexible. Morrison can play central. Nwegbo can play central. Gonsalves can play central. Absolutely.
This is Adams. Charlie Adams is chopped down. No call, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. But
Pathfinder has it. Dash Kink. Long intended for Makunga, but headed away by O'Neill. Nwegbo is looking for an outside of the foot slicing pass towards the direction of Gonsalves, but it got redirected.
That was that Paul Pogba technique where you're central under it, but you still slice under, with the outside of your foot for it. Wanted to see that come off.
It's like what I do with my golf swing.
Open up the face, slice right through it.
Yeah, that happens more than I'd like to admit. Oh, look at Nathan Messer. Oh, and there's a big grab of the jersey. Now Messer goes down. He's not going to like that. Easy indeed. Messer goes face-to-face with Jack King. I think Jack King was just trying to take the foul outside the box, and after the referee was trying to let Messer rip away, things escalated.
And this is what I'm talking about when you bring on a player like Messer against a team that's been playing a man down. They're already, 20%, 30%, whatever percentage you want to throw, more exhausted. These moments are going to happen more and more often as this half progresses.
Yellow card shown to the right back, Stefan Jakink. Also of note for Pathfinder, David Penafil out of the game. Coming on is Yeli Cantabaduno.
Referee brandishes another yellow for Pathfinder.
And a second yellow in the mix of that. I think Joseph Dolan got hit for that one.
Yeah, it's silly, and it's just literally just mouthing off to the ref, too. And you're already a man down. Like, what's the point?
They've gotten hit with 3 yellows and a red card today. Pathfinder has handcuffed themselves from the beginning.
I have never in my life seen a ref rescind a card by a player convincing him to rescind it. I don't know why players continue to do it.
Joe Morrison and Bozalongo over the free kick. Short from Bozalongo. O'Neal tried to hit it with the inside of his foot. And
that's opening up your pitching wedge face and slicing right through it.
That's, again, what my golf swing does look like. Thank you, Mark O'Neal, for showing everybody.
Replicating it.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of ugly now that I see it out in front of me. 2-0 Vermont Green. 2 first-half goals as Matthew Gonsalves and Jack Cloherty both pounded the back of the net. Pathfinder playing down a man in a game in which Vermont Green needs all 3 points to continue their push for the playoffs. Currently in a playoff position thanks to the tiebreaker of goal differential. Nathan Schnurr's ball all the way for Deba Nwegbo. Deba's been battling a bit of a bump on his ankle. Matt, I was down around the benches before the game today, and Jake Ashford just said, Deba, how's the ankle feeling? And Deba said, feeling better, starting to get my pace back. And Ashford said, yeah, you'd been really slow there. And then he quickly said, it was great to see you blowing by guys again in training. Yeah. So it's clear just how much confidence they've got in Deba when he's healthy.
Oh, I mean, listen, he's got all the technique that you want in a player and everything like that, but his just, like, sheer raw power in his sprint and his, like, look at the size of him. Like, when he gets full speed for it, that is a lot to take care of.
Nwegbo was a part of that William and Mary group. He's now the active leader in goals on the year for Vermont with 5. Gonsalves, O'Neal the turn, Mark O'Neal, ridiculous stuff. Oh, baby, Mark O'Neal, that was a delight.
Oh, take a bow. Oh, look at him. Yeah, soak it in, bud.
Mark O'Neal bringing them to their feet. What a turn and the finish.
The disrespect.
He's got a pair of them in back-to-back home games.
Let's
Mark
take a look
O'Neal.
at this again. Replay this. Great little pass, too, for the assist from Gonsalves again. Takes the spin. See ya.
And then clinical on the finish.
Oh, he's going to remember that one for a while.
Mark O'Neal has his second goal of the year. And now another yellow card apparently came out in that mix as well. We'll get exactly who that was on momentarily.
Let's take one more look at this.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
That was just nasty.
Right out of a training session, technical training session. Hey, can you try to do this?
I mean, if I tried to do that, I would fall on my face.
Oh, yeah. I'd be on the ground.
Maybe a torn ACL thrown in there as well.
And this is where it gets really difficult. It was already a very difficult prospect to manage the game.
And a nutmeg from Alfredo Bozalongo.
Can't even say anything. There's just going to be so many attacks.
Again, Pathfinder FC playing down a man. They're the bottom team in the league.
That's a great play.
Let's see what John Forbes can do out of this. Pathfinder numbers forward as Vermont is caught. What a ball from Forbes, but great defense. Ashford and O'Neal, again, were in the right spot. That was Ashford on the clearance.
Great play out of the midfield to kind of beat two guys on the pressure and then find Forbes, wide outright, making the run on it. Good weight on the pass. Oh, we have a player down. I can't see who it is.
No, we've got somebody blocking our view. It is a member of Vermont Green.
It looks like
That's
Ferreira.
Rodrigo Ferreira. Ferreira, the Portuguese international, plays for Division II Franklin Pierce, one of the best Division II teams in the country. Last season, Ferreira and starting goalkeeper today for Pathfinder, Carl Vernet. At Franklin Pierce, they went 21-1. did not lose in the regular season, eventually lost in their Super Region semifinal. Ferreira expected to be a big part of a team at Franklin Pierce next year that is expected to contend for a national championship. A guy who is from Portugal, played internationally for a lot of his career. He's been really an important piece this summer for Vermont Green, one of those key cogs in the middle.
Looks like he's walking okay. I was a little worried, though. You know, he's kind of holding at his knee, but I think it was actually more the quad down the side on the outside.
You can see Daniel Pacella warming up just into your frame and taking off the jersey. Pacella would be the like-for-like change here.
This is, you know, precaution too. You're up 3-0.
Yep.
You're up a man. Adams, you know, he's definitely going to bring him on.
Yep. Corner kick, though, for Pathfinder. Flicked on, away from DeJink, out towards Forbes, who put his laces through it, but it was denied by a Vermont defender.
Really good technique, too, coming over the ball, just getting a little bit under it, just to give it that underspin, drive it low.
Dennis Koch goes back for Dolan. Pressure from Adams. The substitute Dolan. Surrounded, turning on Wegbo, still on his foot. Morrison tackles it out of bounds, off of Joe. Pathfinder the throw. Dennis Koch again back for Dolan, who comes all the way back to Yeli Cantabaduno. He's playing as that central defender. Forbes, Jai Kink. It's Ashford who pops it up. Souza back to the turf.
This is a good little spell of possession. It's not, you know, long, but this is, you know, collect yourself as a team and, you know, play the simple ball right now. This is when everything is going crazy, especially in a match, and for either team, doesn't matter the scenario. When nobody has any rhythm for it, that's when you start to play simple. Get the rhythm going, kind of get a tempo with each other.
That's as comfortable as they've been, but Matthew Gonsalves picks the pocket. It's Gonsalves to Nwegbo. Deba makes it 4-0. Deba Nwegbo, 6 goals on the year, and the route is on in Burlington. Gonsalves again a part of it, Matt.
3 assists. Right as I'm saying, get some tempo, get some rhythm together, but then a poor ball, you know, right under pressure, right in the center of the field. That's not what you want to see out of Pathfinder FC. Taking another look at this, and it's a good press and a win from Gonsalves. Great finish. Great finish by Nwegbo.
I mean, the question about who is the starting striker is no longer a question. Matthew Gonsalves, with a goal and 3 assists today, has, I think, stamped his name on the number 9 spot.
It reminds me of a young Carlos Tevez. Really harasses that back line, you know, does a lot of selfless running to try to create, you know, the break up and play, and then can get on the ball. He can either have a shot, has all the technique to try to dribble past players, and then, or he can look for the assist.
Molly. Joe Morrison wins the throw for Green. We've seen that distribution more from Gonsalves today, though, than we'd seen. You and I think, had thought of Matthew Gonsalves not as just an only pace guy, but that was the thing that immediately came to mind, just his utter speed. We've seen him look more comfortable on the ball today.
Yeah, I mean, when you were watching such a big, profound number 9 like Bjorgolfsson for,
Gonsalves gets clipped behind the play as Pacella unleashes.
He's okay.
Took a tumble, but he's back to his feet.
Right, but when you're watching somebody like Bjorgolfsson for a stretch of matches, and that's kind of what you get used to, and that's what you see Vermont Green FC playing as for a while with that type of striker leading the line. Then of course the first thing you're going to notice is Gonsalves' pace, but then you start to notice, oh wait, there's a lot more to this guy's game the more playing time he gets.
I've really enjoyed Matthew Gonsalves. 3 assists and a goal today for Gonsalves, who scored the game's opener on a penalty kick.
But again, how about that center back partnership between Ashford and O'Neill?
Yeah.
You know, to highlight it again, O'Neill just brings something so different to Ashford, but you need both of them. You need those two types to be in a partnership in the back line. You need somebody who's a little bit safer, a little bit more consistent, positions himself really well, and then you need somebody aggressive with really good technique on the ball like O'Neal, and sure enough, he goes forward and, literally spins on the guy and buries it low into the net for it. It's impressive to see them both.
And another yellow card. This time it's shown to John Forbes. Yeah, I agree with this tweet from Atkins. Yeah. Oh my. The nastiest thing I've seen all summer for sure, and we've seen some highlight reel goals. Great as always to see all the support from fans, both those who are watching along with us from all over the world, as well as the whole town, as you like to say, that's come out tonight, Matt. I think we're expecting to set another attendance record tonight for Vermont Green FC.
What should have been a 5-minute drive to the stadium took 20 minutes.
Real traffic hazards were out tonight. It is packed.
That's perfect now, too. The sun's kind of gone. It's perfect temperature, just enough cool. This is what you want to play ball in. This is what you want to sit in the stadium
I was going to say,
yeah.
this is what I want to watch ball in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yellow card for less than sportsmanship conduct.
O'Neal easily picks out his man. That's Lilly creeping up the right. Great ball for Pacella. And he can sling it for Messer. And Messer can whip it towards Nwegbo. He goes up, heads it backwards. Just barely too deep for Nwegbo.
I really liked what I saw out of Lilly, though, there, because right as Lilly was up, far right past the halfway line, he did have 4 players that were technically running straight at that back line. Like, you could have literally picked a leading ball, and you wouldn't have been at fault, really, for trying to do it. But he said, you know what, no, I'm going to actually keep the ball. He played it through the midfield, and then the chance was even better coming from Messer.
Bozalongo able to squeeze it through to Gonsalves. He gets double-teamed. Joseph Dolan there. He puts out the temporary fire. Molly and Dolan. Back to the goal for Makunga. Turns around Lilly, but nowhere to go as Bozalongo steps over and knocks it out of bounds.
Alcohol sales will end in 15 minutes. Once again, all alcohol sales will end in 15 minutes. So get down to the bar if you want another tipple.
Daniel Pacella gets it. Part of that trio in the holding midfielder spot. Just easy right now for Green. They're picking apart like it's training.
Yeah, they, again, just dominating the midfield. The last home match, same thing that we saw. It's a lot of control right here in that final third.
Lilly launches one to the back posts. Great touch from Zajink. Morrison shows his strength, and then he's clipped and taken down. Stefan Zajink is already on a yellow. He needs to be careful.
Down by the Pathfinder FC, and now we've got another free kick about to be taken by Messer.
Nathan Messer will take the free kick. I mean, William and Mary, when you have Diba Nwegbo, Nathan Messer, and Alfredo Bozalongo, Diba, the way he's scoring, and the way Messer and Bozalongo can deliver the ball, it's a fun trio.
I'm really excited, honestly, to watch college ball this coming fall.
Me too.
Tuning into these guys, programs and watching them do their thing together for their colleges.
Can't wait to follow along come fall, as the summer not exactly winding down, but the USL 2 season is. Bozalongo into the one-man wall this time. Messer finds Diba Nwegbo, who gets shoved, and it's a penalty kick for Vermont Green.
Oh, wow.
Diba Nwegbo launched it in the air, and Dennis Koch gave him a shove.
I didn't see that part. I thought it went the other way.
A man amongst boys might be right for Diba. And Diba, who's already sitting on a goal, sitting on a brace, he's got 6 goals now, tied with Aitor Bjorgolfsson for a team lead, and I think it's going to be Diba who steps up.
Yeah, let's see this again. Yeah.
That's a bit of a shove.
It's a
Again, that's a borderline one to me.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where kind of like I've seen refs so many times not give it. They're like, well, either way. But
yeah,
that's rough,
Especially in a 4-0 game. That's rough.
Yeah, this ref doesn't care. It's 4-0.
That's true.
Yeah, again, it's, he's going up for the bicycle kick. He's it's definitely arms out a bit. Extension. it's going to be a long second half, rest of the second half for Pathfinder FC.
And that's Sebastian Montalou. He's faced an onslaught. Already 2 goals have gotten past him in the first 18 minutes of the second half.
Again, I don't agree with necessarily changing the goalkeeper within
Yeah.
a match, but maybe that's
I don't know
old
the
school.
reasoning there.
Maybe it's something to do with kind of USL too. It's guys getting minutes.
Look at Diba. He's refusing to look at the goal right now. He's had his back to the goal this entire time. Now we'll turn. But again, refusing to look at Montalou in goal.
Focused.
Oh, he bangs it into the top
Absolutely.
corner. What a shot from Diba Nwegbo. That was a rocket.
There's what's the saying? It's like, don't shoot at the goal, shoot through the goal.
That almost ended up on Burlington Country Club, just beyond the fence. Diba Nwegbo, top bins, makes it 5.
Yeah.
This Pathfinder team has struggled this year, just 1 win in 12 tries. They've had some ugly losses. 5-0 at Western Massachusetts what a take.
And this is just the worst to play in, too.
Yeah.
Like, from experience, when you're just getting absolutely hammered, it's just an onslaught, and almost every single attacking chance that the other team is getting is turning into a goal for it. It's so difficult to carry out the rest of the match without just, losing your head. And we'll see how they kind of handle the rest of this, but they need to stop the goals.
We've got a substitution for Pathfinder and a couple of substitutions, a really fun substitution or two coming up for Vermont Green. Nolan Jimmo, the local hero, set to check in, as well as Sam McCann, it appears, will be entering for Vermont Green. If you remember, Matt, last time we were here at home, Sam was down on the turf as we ended our broadcast. What ended up just being a rib contusion for Sam. Thankfully, he's okay and now about to re-enter action. Really a fun moment here for both Nolan Jimmo and Sam McCann to be back on the pitch.
Oh, it's surreal to kind of see Nolan Jimmo out here doing it, getting some time on it. I've had the pleasure of playing some pickup soccer with him. He's a really, really skilled player. He's a local favorite. And, yeah, Sam McCann, I remember being so worried because we weren't in the know on what was going on. It looked really, really serious. And
there's Sam.
So good to see him, out there again.
It was great to get the news later that evening that Sam was being discharged and that he was, in fact, okay.
Yep.
It was a scary moment, Matt, like you said, but great to see Sam. He'll play up top as Matthew Gonsalves exits. His phenomenal night comes to a close with 1 goal and 3 assists. And Jimmo on for his UVM teammate Garrett Lilly. Nolan playing right back.
Yeah, this is good. This is good rotation of, this is also, it's allowed you to do it as if you're Coach Adams, but this is, rotating your team, getting players time. You don't know what it's going to look like if you do make the playoffs. You're going to need everyone to be ready and tuned in.
Western Massachusetts, the only regular season game remaining. That's on Sunday at 6 p.m. You're not going to want to miss it. Playoffs will be on the line. Messer, McCann went up for it and put it over the top. Diba was there as well. Nathan Messer, the team leader with 5 assists, wants to join the party.
It's not good if the smallest player on the field gets a header on you.
No, Sam went up for that one. Couldn't get on top of it. More substitutions about to come on for Pathfinder as they're emptying their bench. Dennis Koch's day will close out as he exits. 5-0 Vermont Green. On what has just been a perfect evening, exactly how Vermont would have drawn it up. And you're never going to predict a red card on the opposing team in the first few minutes, Matt, but everything has gone according to plan tonight.
Yeah, you couldn't, like you said, couldn't ask for a better match, especially leading into what is going to be probably one of the most difficult matches to end the season. So, this one, nobody's going to need a ton of recovery time or, PT after this to rub out any super sore muscles or anything like that and recover little knocks.
Good turn from Makunga, but Pacella steps in as well as Bozalongo. Morrison, and Pacella gets it. He can switch. This is Nolan Jimmo, a fan favorite. Everybody loves Nolan. He picks out Nwegbo. Diba towards McCann.
Oh,
Flag is up.
Flag is up.
What a combination from Nwegbo to Sam McCann, who originally got it from Jimmo.
I can see Jimmo smiling from here, too. He's like, oh, that was close. Let's see this again. Is he?
Ooh.
Oh, that is close.
Very close. You can see maybe where he just might have gone a step too early. Great look from our crew. And apparently a free kick going against Vermont. It will be a Pathfinder free kick in the 69th minute.
Again, a testament to that middle, our midfield, essentially those two holding that sit in front in the 4-2-3-1, the two in the middle that they can just rotate. And I haven't necessarily noticed that Ferreira hasn't been on the field because Pachella has just slotted right in and carried that form over.
633! Give yourselves a bow! Put your hands together and you guys will make this club what it is.
Souza stepping into the attack. Right along the end line, it spins to the feet of Ashford. Captain consistent Jake Ashford. Haven't talked about Jake much tonight. He's just done his thing. Pachella the good first touch, and Nwegbo the outlet.
Whilst it might not seem obvious, but this is also, you're up 5-0, you're up a man. Adams is not going to want to concede a goal. He's going to want to see you continue to dominate the match, control it, and he's going to be looking directly at his defense and his midfield. No silly goals. If it's a wonder goal, fine, or if it's a great touch, whatever it is. But otherwise, no silly goals.
This is about keeping your composure, closing out the final 20 minutes, and I'm sure Daniel Pachella got that message and relayed it loud and clear from the bench when he entered in the holding midfielder spot.
Yep.
Chipped ahead. There's pace from Sam McCann. McCann slides it back. This is Pachella. Great deflection from Souza, and it's out for a green corner.
Pathfinder FC just looking up at the clock like how much time is left.
They've been playing down a man for everything but the first 3 minutes.
Green playing with a smile on their face. Just the contrast between the two teams is so apparent.
Pathfinder, who have had a rough season, will finish up their year on the road against the Boston Bolts. Another corner on its way from Bozalongo. O'Neal pings it back over. It finds the feet of Bozalongo. He slingshots it again towards O'Neal. Pops that one over the bar. Montulu was not pressured in the end. All day for Mark O'Neal on the back post.
Mark O'Neal finally sending the last one over the bar. And a quick reminder, guys, this is your last call on booze. Once again, that last call on booze. You've got 5 minutes.
Well, Matt, we can start, I think, looking ahead a bit to that Western Massachusetts matchup. 20 minutes remaining, 5-0 the lead. Not breaking it down too much. Western Massachusetts does play again this week on Friday, so it will be a quick turnaround for the Pioneers, but they're the hottest team in the league. Messer, good cross. It finds Joe Morrison on his right, the block made by Souza.
Well, sometimes when you play kind of a quick match after, not every time, but the form carries over. If it's a good match and you played really well, you almost just kind of want to play again, and especially if you rotated well during that match. I'm not sure what Western Mass's bench is looking like, if they've been riddled with some injuries, whatever it is to key players. But otherwise, sometimes you just want to get back out there. You're like, no, that was fun. This is good. Let's keep this going. But then it can turn around the exact other way.
That ball bounced off of our referees, so I think Vermont Green should have a drop ball. They've won 9 in a row, Western Massachusetts, that is, dating back to their loss against Seacoast United in the 3rd game of the year. They lost 2 of the first 3, have not dropped a point since. It's going to be a tough one for Vermont Green.
Yeah, that's a sign of confidence as a team, especially just carrying that over. That's obviously the skill and everything like that, but to carry
Pachella chips it for Morrison. Sorry, Matt. Morrison didn't get much on the shot. And I will tell you, Matt, we talked a bit about Rodrigo Ferreira, Franklin, and Pierce, as well as the starting goalie Carl Vernet, as it's turned back over again. Nwegbo, like a vulture just waiting. The ball blasted away. Well, one of the stars for Western Massachusetts, Braudilio Rodriguez. Also stars for Franklin and Pierce. He's got 10 goals, 3 assists through 11 games for Western Massachusetts.
Okay.
He's the guy to know up top for them.
That's going to be somebody that I would expect, Rashford and O'Neill to be watching a little bit of tape on.
Vermont continues to push, looking for a touchdown. Wrong kind of football, sorry. Adams, the cross. McCann is there. Save made. Montulu not up in here. Eventually cleared. Man, point blank for McCann.
Yeah, great reaction save.
Strength from Messer. A beautiful whipped cross. And it's out for a green corner.
And it's now just looking at this again. I mean, this is a great save. This is all reaction, but point blank. Yeah, well done.
A great ball from Adams, setting up Sam McCann. Bozalongo waiting to take this corner.
I'm pretty sure
you
have to be at the 18.
John Forbes was getting close. How about O'Neill? Back for Messer. Just stayed on side. Room to cross. Messer. It's knocked out of bounds. Good defending from Contabaduno.
And it's just relentless. You can see Pathfinder FC. There's just the body language. They look tired.
Yeah.
They morally depleted, but physically tired too. They can't play out of the back. They can't play long. They don't know what to do right now.
Again, Bozalongo. McCann was thinking about an inside-out try. Never reached him. Adams on the reset. Ashford. Oh,
that one might stink. Jake Ashford descends.
Right off the face of Souza.
He's like, all right.
Gabriel Souza says, I'm okay. He's been probably the best player on the defensive side for Pathfinder. Souza, who wore the captain's armband at the front. Now getting a quick look from the physio of Pathfinder FC. Anytime there's a potential head injury, makes sense for a referee for the quick stop. Yeah, that one clocked him.
Looked like he took it in, the cheek, the face.
Just stings as much as anything. A throw-in for Vermont Green as Souza is okay. Final 15 minutes of action from Virtue Field. McCann tries to flick it, and Adams almost raced after it.
And there's just nobody to get the ball up to, and this is where it just becomes just an onslaught. You're just so tired from it because nobody's at least playing a little bit as like a point. Be like, all right, if we have to knock it forward, like somebody needs to be there to receive it.
Nwegbo tracks it down from Jimmo. Back out Morrison. He and Nwegbo just not on the same page.
In a must-win game to get us into the playoffs. We need big support. We need lots of noise. We need that 12.
Oh, the scoop. Bozalongo, but he couldn't squeeze it into McCann.
On Sunday at 6.
Rare poor touch from Ashford, but he shows off the spin. That was exactly what Mark O'Neill did before he scored.
My girlfriend just gave me the side eye.
It's a really good read from O'Neill too. Doesn't jump up for it, just kind of waits for it. He's like, you're all alone, you're tired. Let's see where you go with it.
Almost a takeaway from Mambai Niang. And Bozalongo tripped up. What can you take away from a match like this, Matt, as far as technically and what your team's form is? You're playing up a man the entire time. Is that harder then for coaches to kind of gain takeaways?
Yeah, it's a really good point because when you think about it, it's so easy that you almost like don't learn something from it because you're just like this is just a training opportunity where you're just up. Like there's training like
McCann. Now Sam McCann has his goal on a recycling ball from Messer. Look at the grin on the face of Sam McCann.
Cloud is stoked for that. Everyone was so worried about him until they, could hear that he was okay, and
wow,
so happy for him.
Pure emotion from Sam McCann. First, a great ball from Nwegbo. Now here's Nathan Messer, his 6th assist of the year.
Pathfinder FC 0.
But yeah, kind of just wrapping up my thoughts on, well, what do you take away from a match like this? Is it's almost too easy. Like, this is just basically like a training opportunity where they're basically like, how many different types of goals can we create, whatever it is from it. But you're not necessarily like kind of like learning lessons in this one so much. It's more kind of like, all right, keep the ball, within the midfield and see like what type of attacks you can get out of it, But otherwise, like, the defense has been pretty bored. I don't think Schnur has done anything in this entire half either.
I don't think he's had to make a save tonight. He's had to do one or two things in possession, but that's been about it. Charlie Adams making somebody stop him. Lays off Deba Nwegbo. McCann again.
Gotta be kidding me.
I mean, the front four are just picking their way wherever they want.
Right, but, there's no midfield presence from Pathfinder FC.
No.
There's, the defensive shape is terrible. There's so much space, and, Green is pressing really well. But right here, it's just, there's not a lot of options.
And immediately, everybody in white surrounded by pine green jerseys before they can blink. A record crowd on hand at Virtue Fields as Messer nods it back, giving Schnur something to do. Just announced that 1,633 fans, another attendance record. Vermont Green FC continues to power its way towards what is hopefully a playoff berth, but nonetheless a very successful first year in club history. Bozalongo. You can feel when the players on green get on the ball, too, that they're all trying to join the action. They want to get their name on the score sheet.
Yeah, I was almost a little bit surprised. Just consistently keep seeing, 3 players like running at that back line for it. I was like, yeah, I get it. Like, you run up the score a bit, but at the same time, it's like every time Green gets the ball, they're just looking for another goal every single time. They're not even taking any mercy whatsoever.
It's been a day full of highlights for this Vermont Green offense. It's a club record in goals. Haven't scored 6 before.
And Pathfinder, even if you're a man down, it's just like a disjointed kind of defensive shape or trying to press and win the ball. Everyone's just jogging around, and like that's legs. That's just like physically tired for it. But that's when like when in your training in these scenarios or whatever, it's like there should be like a very distinct shape.
Messer, intended for his co-host of the Hot Take FC podcast, Deba Nwegbo. If you haven't checked out their podcast, Deba and Nathan do a great job on the Hot Take FC podcast, talking all things football. And the two have linked up on more than just the podcast. They've become a dynamic duo of this Vermont Green attack. Recently, they had player coach Ruben Iarna join the pod. I haven't listened to that one yet, but it's becoming one that is nearing the top of my list to catch up on.
I wasn't aware of it. Send me a link.
I'll send you the link. Hot Take FC. It's the name of their podcast.
I like the name.
You can also check out their Instagram. I know I shouldn't be giving out these free ads, but I feel like I owe it to Nathan and Deba. They've given me such joy this summer.
Exactly.
Maybe they'll have you on as a guest, Matt. That'd be fun.
I would be honored.
We'll start it in the works.
Like, guys, thank you. You made post-work, really great. But, yeah, I really.
Oh, ooh. Sam McCann forcing the save out of Montulu. Well, he's feeling himself.
Yeah.
I think even recently, Matt, they had the discussion of should your Manchester United team keep Cristiano Ronaldo. That was recently discussed on the pod.
I'm curious how they feel about that. I personally think it's a blessing that I think it's a good thing that he goes. You need to get the new Ten Hag era started.
I don't love the Chelsea rumors though for him. I don't necessarily need him on my Blues.
I think the Blues would create a lot more chances than United did for him.
Especially with Raheem Sterling's signing becoming official. That's exciting news.
Of course, because the Blues needed Raheem Sterling.
Well, they've got about 8 wingers and 1 defender right now, which is both frightening and hilarious.
We're just going to talk about this forever, right?
Well, Vermont is finally showing some possession here. No big chances in the last 30 seconds. I spoke too soon. Messer from Morrison. Clips towards Nwegbo, and the save made, but Diba Nwegbo has it. How about Diba Nwegbo, folks? He would not be denied.
No, that was great. Great header, way to follow up on it, finish the last part of it.
Diba pointing to the Green Mountain boys, shaking their hands. It is a touchdown and an extra point today for Vermont Green FC, and the celebration truly on in the stands.
Yeah, this Morley, let's take another look at this. It's a great cross from Messer.
That is the third for Diba Nwegbo as well. I lost count.
Yeah. I mean, Messer doesn't have a ton of real estate to kind of get that ball. He has to basically kind of like chip it, and it has to beat 4 players and the keeper, but stay alive. The ball has to stay alive to actually attack it, and Nwegbo holding a great spot for it.
Those two just have some type of connection. They always know where the other is. Nathan Messer and Diba Nwegbo continue to haunt opposing defenders. Pathfinder has just struggled to get it going.
Every time you see Pathfinder kind of link up 2, 3, 4 passes for it, it's just that final one where it's kind of where it actually would unlock maybe an attack on goal. It's not there, and it's basically like you're morally depleted at this point. Well, I know I've said it enough, but it's just that's what's gone. That's what's missing. And started in the first minute.
Almost into the 86th minute from Virtue Field. This second half has been played entirely to our left. Nolan Jimmo pushing forward. Diba looking for 4. Nwegbo just barely wide. What a return to the lineup for Diba Nwegbo.
You know what I'm personally disappointed, though, is I'm looking at Pathfinder FC's manager sitting on his butt right now, and his team is getting absolutely hammered. Their chances are so easy for Green. If I'm a manager, you have to finish this out with your team. You have to be leading them.
They've been playing down a man for almost the entire game. Saying it's been an uphill climb is putting it kindly. Nwegbo does get a flick, but Montulu does come up with it.
You're the manager. Stop feeling bad for yourself. These guys are the ones that are getting hammered on the field. Get out there and start talking to them. Finish out the rest of the match without another goal.
There just has not been much life from Pathfinder. Bozalongo can run onto it. He finds his tribe teammate Messer. Will he find Nwegbo again? Messer wants one of his own. A bit of a shrug from Nathan Messer as if just to say, I might as well try to get on the score sheet.
Yeah.
McCann slips it towards Nwegbo. A bit much there from Mark O'Neill on the turn. And he crashes into John Forbes and is whistled for it. Well, now my attention pretty firmly on Sunday. The competition for Vermont Green, they're pretty much locked into the 3rd position at this point in the standings, in the Northeast Division standings. Boston City only has 1 more game remaining, and they're 1 point back. So Vermont Green, with this 3-point performance, will eliminate Boston City. meaning they've basically got the third spot locked up in this division. Adams again, and now Sam McCann can run in. Nwegbo to his left. McCann takes it himself and scores. 8-0 Vermont Green.
Absolutely brutal. And a really, really brutal counterattack, too.
Yeah.
All four of them just pouring into it. And I thought that ball was too heavy that was leading in front of him. This ball right here, just from Adams, I was like, it might just be a little too heavy.
Charlie Adams can do no wrong.
Yeah, right?
Every time he touches it, the ball turns into a goal.
It's a great finish from McCann.
He's selfish with it, but he pays it off.
Yeah. Scoring one with his header and then slotting one right off the post.
McCann has his brace, his first 2 goals for Vermont Green. But again, looking to Sunday, that means for Vermont Green, they've got that third spot locked up. We're looking at the Metro Division. Hudson Valley is currently in the third spot there, and they're likely to be the team in third place. As of right now, Hudson Valley in the exact same spot as Vermont Green. Same record, 22 points. Messer gets tripped up, and it's a whistle going against Gabriel Souza. Yellow card is out. We've seen this story before. It's tough, Matt, when you're jockeying for playoff positioning against a team you don't really know. The focus just has to be on taking care of your own business. You can't focus on what Hudson Valley's doing tonight against Morris Elite or FA Euro New York on Sunday.
No, that's exactly it, and I think that's kind of why you're seeing them run up a score. It's not Vermont Green FC's fault that Pathfinder has completely fallen apart. They're going to run it up, and they're going to take care of business for it, but they have to put themselves in the best possible position as that scenario starts to play out in the playoffs.
6 second-half goals for Vermont Green FC, padding an already very positive goal distribution.
That's what I wanted, that pass right there. I was like, I saw the run. I wanted to find him.
Bozolongo did. Pacella's touch lets him down a bit. Here's McCann. He's looking for the hat trick, but it's tackled away nicely by Dolan. The sprint back on defense for Vermont Green as Pathfinder carries it forward. Forbes was making a good run down the right.
And now you see it's just so stretched out, too. Pathfinder sent 5 guys forward for it, lost it, and they're just walking back.
Deba tackled by Dolan, who comes over to maybe give a word of apology. We've reached the 90th minute as Vermont Green FC has scored 8 goals today. A Deba Nwegbo hat trick. Matthew Gonsalves scored once, assisted on 3. It's hard to pick just one standout player today.
Yeah, I mean, Gonsalves, I think, definitely just dominated every minute that he was in there. He had the 3 assists and the goal. I kind of have to give it to him, but
yeah,
Charlie Adams was great.
One of the reasons Pathfinder seems so tired is because they were run ragged by Gonsalves in the first half.
Well, just that, that attacking front 4, as you would say, for it, just absolutely was fluid. It was incredibly difficult to mark for it, especially when you're a man down. So just took everything out of it.
There's Joe Morrison, good defending. He's allowing Messer to get forward more and more often. Morrison has been laying back almost as this left back.
Yeah, it slots in a little bit and then just lets the left back. Same thing for the other side. It's just that's generally how you'll see like a 4-2-3-1 when they get into the attack. They'll get a little bit more central into the attack, and then you'll start to see the wing backs get forward.
What are you going to remember from this game?
I'm trying to think of one single memory.
It's okay to say nothing.
I think I'm going to say O'Neill's goal. I think it was just because this isn't like a punch for punch match, and that's what's like difficult. It's going to be difficult as much for Pathfinder FC's manager, although I'm upset with him for not kind of taking care of his team right now.
For that body language.
Yeah, for that body language, just slumped into his chair. But this is also kind of like a little bit of a difficult one for Adam to kind of pick points. I think I would highlight really good defensive work, taking care of the ball, good pressing. A lot of the goals also did come from really good team pressing.
O'Neill tried it again.
I know.
Would that be what's the name of that move? The Maradona? The spin like that?
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
I knew that at one point in my soccer playing life. That was one that me and the buddies would try to execute just messing around in the backyard and almost always end up
smashing,
falling over the ball or just sending the ball into orbit. Mark O'Neill appears to have it mastered. And Charlie Adams' energy has not dropped.
Nope.
He's hungry. That's going to find Messer. He cuts it back. Messer.
Good defensive work.
Yeah, that was good defending.
Yeah. But, I mean, no, Adams and Green, they're not going to be tired. They've had all the ball. When you have all the ball, you don't generally get tired. The exhausting part is the off-the-ball defensive work, and when you're doing it for so much of the match.
Morrison holding. Everybody standing stationary. Dibenwegbo. I suppose I'll go long again. Nathan Messer wants a goal. Flag is up on Messer, though.
Messer caught by the offside trap there.
A little surprised the ref hasn't actually blown the whistle. I didn't think there was going to be a lot of stoppage time.
I did not either. I guess after all the goals are scored, maybe that's where the stoppage time comes from.
Guys, you've scored too many goals. We have 8 minutes
I have to
left.
stop my watch every 5 minutes. Yeah. Not like Vermont Green outside of the Sam McCann celebration. They haven't exactly been losing their minds.
There it is.
8-0 final. Utter dominance today from Vermont Green in front of a record crowd, Matt. Overall impressions from this one, a dominant win against an overmatched Pathfinder team, but Vermont takes care of business when they need to.
Yeah, I mean, they got rewarded for that aggressive nature early in the match, and then from there, it was just an uphill struggle for Pathfinder FC the whole time. And Vermont Green, they kept it simple, but then when they attacked, they were fast, they were direct, and they now you're seeing like what it looks like when you're a man up and you play in that nature. You can see an 8-0 win.
In the first half, it was Matthew Gonsalves and then Jack Clardy who scored the first two. In the second half, Nwegbo scored 3, Sam McCann scored a pair, and then finally it was Mark O'Neill. How could I forget O'Neill, as here's the Gonsalves penalty kick that got us started. Overall, just a great game for Vermont.
Yeah, it was a good little finish there from Gonsalves, but yeah, and I think also give credit to, I understand that there wasn't, a lot for the defense to do, but you still have to keep it simple, and you still have to do your job.
Clean sheet.
And, yeah, exactly. They came away with a clean sheet. Credit to them.
Finals, sorry, Matt.
No.
There was the Clardy finish as the final score, 8-0 in favor of Vermont Green. We could show you these highlights all night long, but let's wrap it up. Sunday, 6 o'clock, Vermont Green FC and Western Massachusetts Pioneers in a playoff positioning battle. Vermont Green trying to clinch their way to the postseason. We'll have the broadcast for you, but that does it for our show tonight. For Matt Montel, I'm Brian McLaughlin and our entire production crew. How about one more quick look at Mark O'Neill's tally before we go?
This is the one. Whoop.
See you later, which is exactly what we say to you now. Mark O'Neill, the highlight. Vermont Green, a dominant win. We'll talk to you next time, Sunday at 6 with more Vermont Green football.